Hey there guys, and welcome to Scrap Mechanic. Now this game, this game has been a bit of a pain for me, you see, because I bought it. I made that car and that little garage thing that we started making, and then the game started to play around. Wouldn't save, wouldn't load, would randomly crash, would make my bearings do all sorts of weird things, would run at 2 FPS, would run at 50 FPS, wouldn't run at all. You get the picture, guys. But basically, I'm here because the game's been optimised a little bit and it runs perfectly well, and I've made a lift. Yes, guys, I know, it's boring, it's a lift, but it's a callable lift. As you can see, I'm on my little platform up the top here, and well, there's no lift, so I suppose we'll call it. We'll get rid of that horrible thing that's floating around, and we've called the lift, so hopefully it's on its way. I don't know. Let's get the. Is it going to come here? Oh, look, there it is. Oh, look, and there's the gates opening. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to get rid of this because that's better, and then we're going to jump onto the lift. So we jump on a lift and then we flick the old button and the doors close and kadonk. Oh, and then we go down and then we get to the bottom and then the doors open, guys, and then you get out and there you are. Now we're at the bottom. How amazing is that, guys? And just so you can see that I'm not mucking around, there's the button at the bottom. It will send it to the top, okay? So just imagine we're at the top. There you go. Lift's now at the top. Doors will open. Oh, get out of the way, you. And dunk, they're open. Okay, so we've just come to the lift and our mate has just left, but obviously the lift's at the top and we want the lift, so well, I'm gonna call the lift, guys. We'll wait for the doors to close. Oh, look. And down comes the lift, and just and just to make it as you can see that I'm not mucking around and I'm using the same switch, we're going to run back up to the top, and I'm going to use this switch at the top, and it's going to call the elevator back up. Well, lift, elevator, whatever you want to call it. See, there it is. It's closing up. Up she comes. Woo! We get to the top. Doors open. Now guys, I'm going to run through a little bit of how this works, because I haven't actually watched many people play this game. I mean, there's one person that I do watch and they have made nothing like this, so I haven't copied anybody. But basically, guys, this system here uses a simple logic gate and a couple of bearing controllers, really. So what I'll do is I'll show you the little setup in here quickly if my character stops getting stuck. Basically, in here we have 2 bearing controllers for the actual lift mechanism, the sensor and logic switch down here to control everything, and I will go and run through that in a bit more detail for you. Get out. But firstly, we're going to look at this little gizmo. We're going to look at this little gizmo because this is how I've got it all set up to work. So the old lift system. Now I was having a bit of a problem with this because I couldn't get the doors to open at the right time. I was having timing issues. So I made this little gizmo here, and it actually helped me out. So basically, we imagine this is the switch at the bottom. Switch at the bottom closes the gates. Lift mechanism moves. Gates open. And then if you was to call it back down, gates close, lift mechanism goes down, gates open. And I built this really quickly because I couldn't figure out how to get the system to work, and basically it's all about where your timings are. You need to have all the bearings need to be on the same controller to activate, basically. So this one down here, for example, I have, if I bring out my little wand, you'll see how many lines I have. So guys, we basically have one bearing controller controlling one side of the lift, one bearing controller controlling the other side of the lift. This one here controls one door and this door, and the other bearing controller controls this door here on the actual lift and this door here on the floor. And the reason for that is so that one bearing controller controls this door and one bearing controller controls this door, and that gives it a delay. Then both bearing controllers kick in and take the whole contraption up the top. Now when it gets to the top, we have a bearing up there which is controlled by one, and the bearing on this gate here which is controlled by the other bearing controller. And that is basically how you get the delay system to work. Now the little logic system is coming up last because that is quite good. Now this again is just a little gizmo I made up just to understand where things were going to finish, because when sending this up you will notice that the whole thing starts to move to the side, and because the whole thing starts to move to the side, you need to basically end up your straight arm, your last pivot needs to be in line with your starting pivot, and that will give you a direct straight motion. For example, I will send the lift up and I will show you exactly what I mean on the lift. Come on lift, gates close, up you go. Bye, have fun. So we'll jump over here and I will show you what I mean. Oh no! Right, so basically my first bearing starts right over here on the very edge of the wall. Okay, so it's one block in. Now if we was to go around here, and look at where the actual arm finishes, that is that line there. Okay, so that's the first bearing is on this line, goes up, and you can see all of my arms finish on this side. This one here, this arm, is slightly shorter, so it actually comes one across. But that doesn't matter because that point there is still the same up there as it is when it's down here all folded up. For example, bring the lift back down. That pivot point there, which is our final pivot, is in line with this. And as you can see, it comes all the way down and it stays in line with that arm. Ah, we're stuck! It actually stays, there's that final pivot just there, and it stays in line with that. So that's how you get your nice straight motion. I also have this little runner system so it doesn't go side to side. That one there is on a bearing, that's on a bearing, so it can't go side to side. And the same on the back. These two on the end are on a bearing, these two on, and same on this side. And that's basically to stop the lift from falling away from itself. We don't need any on the front because the lift actually wants to pull away from the actual system. When it gets to the top, it's not quite the right height, so the bottom knuckle down there actually pushes against that bit there and will push the lift out. It actually pushes it away because it's too long. So the whole reason of these arms at the back is to, when it gets to the top there, is to stop it from having the push out effect. And it works kind of well because when it gets to the top we don't have any gaps. So there's that, guys. That's kind of cool. We'll just reset that. It's always best to have those things switched off because, well, FPS. Blimey, I've had some serious FPS issues. So we're going to run up here now and I'm going to show you my logic gate system, which is probably a really easy system. It's that one that's on. Basically, let's get rid of that horrible sign. Basically, I have one bearing controller connected to one switch with one bearing, and the same on this side. So we basically have two separate circuits. Now each circuit will control the arm to actually activate the sensor. The sensor is connected to this bearing controller, which in turn is connected to the lift mechanism, if you like, from over there. Now, if this is the bottom and this is the top, this is basically how it works. At the moment, the lift's in the bottom position, so we can jump in the lift, click the button, and the lift will go up. And then when it's at the top, we can be at the top switch, click the button, and the lift will come down. And the same goes, if we were at the top and the lift was at the bottom, we can click the button and the lift will come up to us. We can jump in the lift, click the button, and come all the way down to the bottom. And it's a really simple system, guys, and all it does is each bearing controller will move each bearing 45 degrees. So this controller here is controlling one bearing there, and this controller here is controlling a bearing between the two. And quite literally, all it does is move 45 degrees. So as you can see, that first brown block is moving on that switch and activating the sensor. And if we move here, it's the yellow and black block that's moving around its axis and activating the sensor. And you can have these in any combination, and you know, each click of the switch will tell it to do something different, constantly moving backwards and forwards. And very simple logic gate, guys, very simple. You can get obviously multiple logic gates, and I will be looking at them in future, but that's basically what I wanted to show you guys, was my little lift down here, which actually took far longer than you might imagine to construct. Yeah, less said about that the better. Oh, I also made this. Well, I didn't. My mate Alex came in and made this. Turn a rotation into a linear. That's basically all that does, guys. Take a rotating motion and transforming it into a backwards forwards linear motion. Yes. And this world, by the way, guys, is called the Engineer's Playground. So we're going to make loads of stuff. So we're going to jump in the old lift, click the button. Gates close. Up we go. I'm very sorry about the FPS, guys, as well. The game isn't very well optimised at the moment, especially for people like me with rubbish computers. And we jump up the top, and we're at the top, and it's amazing. And the reason we're at the top is because over here somewhere, I've had to move it away, because if you have all of your creations in one place, gore, you get such an FPS drop. But I can't even remember where I put it now. Hello? Where are you? Hello? Easiest way to find it is turn on this little thing and it will show you where all your bearings are. So I have loads of bearings and things over there, got something down there, got something up there. Aha! There's something over here in the distance. Hopefully it's what I want it to be. Yeah, there it is. Is there anything else? So it'd be very good to just stand here and we'll just turn round and see if we can see any more bright colours. Because I can't remember if I've made anything else and just like left it round places randomly. Yeah, is that the logic gate over there? That's the logic gate. No, this must be it, guys. I must have deleted everything else because it was giving me FPS drop. But check this out, guys. Haha, this is our next project and I will be working on it in the next episode. But basically, let's go. It's a walker type thing. It bounces a lot. It just bounces side to side. And it turns as well. But it kind of falls over as it's doing it. So this needs some work, but it works. So guys, if you enjoyed what you've seen today, you can click the like button for us. If you've got any comments, messages or questions, I will do my best to get back to you and answer them. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you can do us a huge favour and subscribe to us, it'll be a great help. But until the next one, and we work on this weird wobbly machine, see you later, guys.